He bets the police 100 euros that he can lose them in the heart of Paris. His passenger, a quadriplegic millionaire, calmly ups the ante. What the cops don't know is that this isn't a crime in progress. It is the world's most unconventional therapy session. The man behind the wheel is Driss, fresh out of prison and from the rough suburbs of Paris. The man in the passenger seat is Philippe, a wealthy aristocrat paralyzed from the neck down. Their story didn't start with a high-speed chase, but with a job interview that was a farce from the beginning. Philippe, aided by his assistant Magali, was interviewing a line of highly qualified, but dreadfully boring candidates for the position of his life in caregiver. They drone on about their certifications and motivations. Speaking of empathy and a desire to help, one claims his motivation is money, before quickly correcting himself to the human connection. Another boasts of his expertise in administrative procedures, even suggesting Philippe might be eligible for housing assistance. Then, cutting through the line of hopefuls, comes Driss. He's not here for a job, he is here for a signature. 3 rejections, and he can claim his unemployment benefits. He struts in, bypassing decorum, asking for his paper to be signed, so he can get on with his life. When asked for his references, he names funk bands. Philippe, a man of classical tastes, counters by asking if Driss knows Berlioz. Driss, thinking of the housing projects, scoffs, which building? Philippe is taken aback, then clarifies that Berlioz was a famous composer, before he was a neighborhood. Driss laughs it off as a joke, retorting that Philippe's sense of humor is as lacking as his musical knowledge. While waiting, Driss unabashedly flirts with Magali, calling her his motivation, and cheekily suggesting she could slip him her number. Intrigued by this complete lack of pity and reverence, Philippe doesn't sign the paper. Instead, he offers Driss a 1-month trial. Come back tomorrow at 9 AM, he says. Driss leaves, baffled, and returns to a chaotic home life. He lives with his aunt, who took him in from Senegal as a child, and a host of younger cousins he barely knows. After a 6-month absence for robbery, his aunt has had enough. She lectures him about his irresponsibility, his failure to contribute, and his silence. With nowhere else to go, Driss takes Philippe's offer. He arrives at the lavish mansion and is shown to his own private suite, complete with a luxurious bathroom. For a man from the projects, it is a world away. His first day is a disaster. He struggles to move Philippe from his bed to the wheelchair. During a bath, he accidentally uses body lotion as shampoo, complaining that it doesn't foam. He balks at having to put on Philippe's compression stockings, a task he finds undignified. The most contentious issue arises when another caregiver, Marcel, mentions the need for bowel assistance. Driss flatly refuses. "I don't do that. I don't wipe the ass of a guy I don't know," he declares. It is a matter of principle. Philippe, overhearing on the baby monitor, is merely amused by the chaos. Despite his inexperience, Driss's lack of pity is exactly what Philippe has been missing. He treats Philippe not as an invalid but as a person. He is brutally honest, conducting experiments to see what Philippe can feel, like pouring boiling water on his legs. The other staff are horrified, but Philippe is secretly thrilled by the lack of coddling. Philippe's daughter, Elisa, is a spoiled teenager who treats Driss with disdain. She and her boyfriend mock him, and she is disrespectful to the entire staff. One day, after a particularly rude encounter, Driss has had enough. He confronts Philippe, demanding permission to discipline her. "Here, I am your arms and your legs, right? So now I want to be your hands to give her a good slap." Philippe, seeing the need for a firm hand, gives his consent. Elisa is finally put in her place, earning Driss a small measure of respect. The bond between the two men deepens. At an art gallery, Driss is incredulous that a canvas with a red paint splatter costs 30,000 euros. Philippe explains that art is the only trace of our passage on Earth. Driss scoffs, saying he could make a better trace for 50 euros at a hardware store. It's here that Driss makes the iconic joke. As Philippe asks for a chocolate, Driss holds the bag away and says, "No arms, no chocolate." Philippe freezes for a moment, then bursts into genuine hearty laughter. It's the first time he's been treated with such irreverent humor. To Driss's shock, Philippe buys the expensive painting. One night, Philippe suffers a severe phantom pain attack, struggling to breathe. Driss, awakened by the monitor, rushes to his side, calming him down and taking him out for a drive in the cool night air. They sit by the Seine, and for the first time, Philippe truly opens up. He explains his phantom pains. "I am like a frozen steak thrown into a hot pan. I feel nothing, but I still suffer." Driss, ever practical, offers him a joint to help ease the pain. As they smoke, their conversation turns intimate. Driss asks how he manages his romantic life. Philippe explains that pleasure can be found elsewhere, mentioning the ears are a particularly erogenous zone. He then shares the story of his late wife Alice, the love of his life, and the paragliding accident that left him paralyzed. His real disability, he confesses, isn't being in a wheelchair, but living without her. At the end of the month, Philippe officially hires Driss. His first request: get my Feyberg Fey egg back. It was a gift from Alice, and Driss had stolen it on his first day. Driss sheepishly returns the priceless object. Their trust now solidified. Driss discovers Philippe has a secret, an epistolary relationship with a woman named Eleonore from Dunkirk. They've been writing for 6 months but have never spoken or met. Philippe is terrified of revealing his condition, fearing she will reject him. Driss, embodying his role as Philippe's arms and legs, pushes him to take a risk. He finds her number and forces Philippe to make the call. The call is awkward but successful. Eleonore has a beautiful voice and asks for a photo. This creates a new dilemma. Driss argues for honesty, suggesting a photo that shows Philippe's handsome face but obscures the wheelchair. But at the last moment, Philippe loses his nerve and secretly has Yvonne swap the photo for one of him before the accident. At Philippe's birthday party, the stuffy classical music is killing the vibe. Driss hijacks the stereo, puts on Earth, Wind and Fire's Boogie Wonderland, and his infectious energy gets everyone, even the most rigid guests, dancing. It is a moment of pure joy, a testament to Driss's ability to inject life into Philippe's world. Later that night, Driss gives Philippe his present, a reply from Eleonore. She has seen the photo and is coming to Paris to meet him. Philippe is ecstatic, but his joy is short, lived replaced by the terror of his deception. The day of the launch date arrives. Driss gets Philippe ready, but at the restaurant, Philippe panics. He can't go through with it. He stands Eleonore up, leaving her waiting at the table. He calls Driss from the restaurant, defeated, and asks him to arrange a getaway. Driss takes him on a spontaneous trip in Philippe's private jet. They go paragliding together, with Philippe strapped to an instructor, finally able to feel the sensation of flying again. It's a moment of freedom and catharsis for both men. During the trip, Philippe gives Driss an envelope containing 11,000 euros, the proceeds from the painting Driss had made, which Philippe secretly sold to a friend. "You have talent," Philippe tells him, encouraging him to pursue his art. However, reality intrudes. Driss's younger cousin, Adama, gets into deep trouble with a gang. He shows up at the mansion, battered and scared, seeking refuge. Driss realizes he can no longer ignore his family responsibilities. He makes the difficult decision to leave Philippe's service to look after his family. Their farewell is understated but emotional. Driss has one last laugh, revealing to Magali that he knew she was a lesbian all along. After she introduces her girlfriend, Philippe returns to a life of sterile, professional care. His new caregivers are competent, but lack the spark, the life force that Driss brought. He grows a beard, sinks back into depression, and stops answering Driss's calls. Worried, Yvonne calls Driss. Driss, now running a successful delivery company, shows up unannounced. He finds a disheveled and miserable Philippe. Without a word, he gets him into the Maserati, and they hit the road, just like old times. This brings us back to the beginning. The police chase is not an escape from the law, but an escape from despair. After their stunt with the police, Driss doesn't take Philippe home. He drives him to a seaside restaurant. He gives Philippe a much-needed shave, restoring his dignified appearance. He tells Philippe he won't be staying for lunch, and that someone else is joining him. Philippe looks confused, then sees her. Eleonore is waiting inside. Driss has given him the one thing he couldn't find for himself, the courage to face his fear and embrace a new beginning. As Philippe nervously meets Eleonore, Driss watches from the window with a smile. His job is finally done. He turns and walks away, leaving his friend to find happiness on his own terms. The film concludes by telling us that the real-life Philippe and Abdel Selou Driss's real-life counterparts remain close friends to this day.